When we read Malachi, where Malachi says, return unto me and I'll return unto you. That word return is teshuvah.
Yeah.
And they said, how do we return? And God says, in tithes and in offerings, and I'll open you the window of heaven, and I will pour you out such a blessing, there won't be room enough to receive it. Now listen to me. This is, I'm going to explain it. This is true every year at this time, but this one is beyond anything you've ever imagined. And I'll explain it in a minute. So God says, return unto me and I'll return to you. How do we return? In tithe, we know what tithe is, 10%, and then offerings besides. And I know I've taught this, and many of you know this, but when God says offerings besides, unless we read the Bible through the eyes of a Jewish Malachi, a Jewish Jesus, and we understand Jesus in the Passover, we miss what that means. Offerings besides is 3 times a year. We come before the Lord and we don't come empty-handed. Those 3 times a year is where Jesus gets 30, 60, 100-fold. My people destroyed for what reason?
Lack of knowledge.
If we don't know this, if you don't know about the offering of Passover, you can never get to 30, 60, 100-fold. Let me say that again. If you don't know about the offering of Passover, 3 times a year we come before the Lord and we do not come empty-handed. Those 3 times a year, Tiz, are Passover, their Pentecost or Shavuot, and their Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot. This is what God is talking about when he says, when you bring this offering, then when you do this, when you return to this, then I will open the windows of heaven. And we talk about this all the time. I think a lot of people think that when God is talking about in Malachi, the windows of heaven. And the word window in Hebrew is the word yeshod. And the word yeshod means a funnel or a channel from God's throne to your knee.